Tonight on PhillyCAM Voices, we look back at some of our favorite stories in 2020. It's a year-end special edition of PhillyCAM Voices. Good evening and thanks for tuning in to PhillyCAM Voices. I am your host, Amanda Johnson. Rapper Tierra Whack shared her love of music with her hometown of Philadelphia. She gave 5 Philadelphia high schools $10,000 grants each, all to enrich their music programs. Reporter Ramses Montez was there when she visited South Philadelphia High School.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Ramses Montez. I'm here at South Philadelphia High School. We're attending a show sponsored by Vans. Tierra Whack is performing. They're giving a lot of money back to the school. Guitars, bass, like enough equipment to start a whole new jazz band. We're pretty excited. The energy here is like super dope.
Already have instruments that just came from the grant yesterday. So we have 4 guitars, a bass, a drum set, amps, everything to start a jazz band immediately, plus we get an additional $10,000 that we get to spend how we see fit. So it's very, very exciting for South Philadelphia.
It was just a good situation to, get to see someone I really look up to, someone who I actually listen to, and get her approval on music that we've made and worked hard on for months and months. Being one of the different/weird people in Philadelphia, it's kind of like nice to see that I don't gotta just listen to gangster rap or anything aggressive. It kind of made me feel special that I could also be in the situation that she's in.
This really means a lot to me, teaming up with Vans, just to be able to create opportunity for you guys. I went to school, I'm from Philly, music school, academy. I'm really happy to be here. I appreciate you guys.
I think it's only right that I give back. I work so hard and I want to make sure I give back, to my people so that we can just keep flushing out good talent, good people, good artists. We need to support each other, It doesn't stop when you blow up or get big or become a celebrity. Like, you gotta always come back, Don't forget where you came from.
Someone cared enough about a school that still has a music program with students who are so involved in music to donate. That was a wonderful thing. So it was great to see, it was wonderful to have Tierra come here to visit our kids. It was really special. It made them feel special. Every school should have a music program. That music is the outlet for many kids, and kids who sit quietly in a classroom who write or sometimes penning rhymes. As you walk down the hall, you often hear them rapping, and some of them have such a command of the English language, and so it manifests itself in their music.
We gon' get it right, yeah. Your crib, we gon' slide for sure, and we gon' do it. Party so live up tonight, yeah.
More diversity is needed in Philadelphia's tech industry. What's being done to change that? Connie Combe reports.
Information technology is one of the largest and fastest growing industries in the world. The United States is the largest tech market in the world, representing 32% of the total of the approximate $1.7 trillion for 2020. A recent CompTIA report reveals that the tech sector, as a percentage of gross domestic product, exceeds that of most other industries. The Vault reports that the benefits of the IT industry are great pay, great work environment, complete medical benefits, career diversity, and many other benefits. But the diversity that's lacking is workforce diversity. I sat down with Vincent Better, the co-director of Technically Media. Technically Media are the creators of Philly Tech Week, to discuss this discrepancy.
Well, we still have a long way to go, quite frankly. I don't have numbers off the top of my head, but certainly minorities are still well underrepresented in the technology space. So if you look at the general population of Philadelphia being majority minority, the technology field certainly does not reflect that.
Vincent didn't have the numbers, but here's what's going on in the IT industry. In 2016, IT workers at Google, Microsoft, Twitter, and Facebook were on average 56% white, 37% Asian, 3% Hispanic, and 1% Black, according to the company's diversity reports. Women also were underrepresented in the tech industry, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. David Lipscomb, the president of BDPA Philadelphia, had this to say regarding diversity in the IT field.
It's important because when we look at the IT industry right now, it's not diverse. You know, we look at the percentage of people that are in positions, IT positions, and you look across the country, and we see that there's a deficit of people in the diverse jobs. You know, going from management right on down to the help desk. We see that there is a dearth of people of color.
One thing BDPA is doing is getting students involved in coding, where they participate in regional coding competitions.
We look at today, most people might say, oh, I want to play professional sports, I want to go into entertainment. But we find that you can have a much more fulfilling career in IT. IT expands everything. So when these children are given a chance to really look at the environment and see what IT is all about, they get excited and they have other options in life in which they can look to. So that diversity does help. The motto for BDPA is from the classroom to the boardroom. So you provide that pipeline right into the job market, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's corporate, and that way you really reduce the amount or you increase the amount of diversity in the industry.
I asked Vincent if he thinks the IT industry will become more diverse in the future.
I think it can change. I think it will change. There are a lot of programs that are happening. Code for Philly is one of them that really is trying to introduce technology and that tech career path to younger students, you know, middle school and high school. Not waiting until they get to college to try to figure it out, but really introducing the opportunities at a much younger age and helping people sort of find their way into space. As long as the school district and the educational institutions are willing to make technology a part of their curriculum, then we can continue to diversify the technology pool here in Philadelphia.
I think anything that's diverse is great. I think in any industry, I think in life, when you have diversity, you have a greater path for success.
This is Connie Com for PhillyCAM Voices.
The recent murder of Dominique Remy Fields, a black trans woman of Philadelphia, has brought into focus the unique struggle faced by trans women in a transphobic and racist society. Asked to Work apprentice Jasmine Carter, Menjulis Montez, and Darian Woodward explore the media's representation of trans people with a special focus on the experience of black trans women.
In 2019, advocates tracked at least 27 deaths of transgender or gender non-confirming people in the U.S. due to fatal violence, the majority of whom were black transgender women. Yet, out of all those deaths, how many did you hear about? What actions are we taking to protect them? We interviewed a trans advocate and they spoke on their experiences, struggles, views, wishes as a transgender woman in a world influenced by media.
Cis people who claim to be allies try to take that forefront of being like, you know, this needs to happen and that needs to happen when no one's really asking trans women what they want. Like, I feel like a lot of the time we could be the center of conversation, but we're dismissed. Like, we're not really like, you know, be like, you know, what do you think? Like, it's usually just like, you know, we know this is bad and we need to help them, but no one is asking us how to help.
We also interviewed a media educator who spoke on representation on media and the importance of it.
I think when groups of people are stereotyped in media, it's problematic because those messages are being received and are teaching people, right? They're reinforcing ideas and values about people. And so when we see the same stereotypes over and over again of any group of people, it reinforces these ideas that that just aren't accurate. It makes people a caricature.
Media for a long time has done trans women horribly. Like, you can go to the very first, like, the Scary Movie franchise, and they had the coach that was supposed to be a trans woman and a predator. You know, like, you try to paint a trans woman as a predator. And you could think about it in a way as if when people first came out with Birth of a Nation and painted a black man as a predator. You know, like, you representing people in such a negative light that, you know, that's not who they are. That's not the course base of who they are. Like, being a predator, and that's sick to be compared to something like that.
Media matters. I think media plays a really big role in the way that we see ourselves and we see each other. And so if we only see certain types of representations, it's a problem.
It shouldn't be like you have to go out and find that history, like, that you're searching for and see yourself inside of, you know, like, because I didn't know, like, until, like, I was, like, 15 about, like, Marsha, and I didn't know, like, any of this stuff that I knew until, like, I was, like, 15, which I feel like is sad personally, because I feel like, well, if I knew this when I was, like, 10, knew this when I was, like, 9 or 8, I would have felt very, very happy, like, you know, to see myself in that kind of history. And I think a lot of cis like, people don't understand how important it is to see yourself in history, because they always see themselves in history. So it's nothing to them. But for someone like me, it's very, very, very important.
A lot of Black people are talking about Black liberation. Well, we can't talk about Black liberation if we're not talking about Black trans women and Black trans people. They're part of this movement. So if you don't care about your trans brothers and sisters, then you don't really care about Black liberation.
On June 13, 2020, the Say Her Name protest was led in response to the recent deaths of Breonna Taylor and Philly native Remy Fells, who was tragically murdered this month.
And I feel like it'd be very important to include queer people, or to include the fact that people work queer inside a lot of these history courses, so that people can see themselves in history. Like, you know, like, a lot of people keep saying, like, oh, this trans stuff and this gay stuff just came up. Like, it's been around for centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries, but it's the history that we learned over the years where it's like, it's cis, it's white, you know, and it's heterosexual. And, like, if you're Black, it was, you know, cis het too for a second, and, like, you know, the women and the men, and that was it.
I think we need to see stories of trans women about their lives, not just about their deaths. So often when we hear about trans women in the news or in the media, it's because of violence. And what about all the stories? What about the opinions? What about the concerns, the dreams, the victories, the nuances, the challenges? What about all of those things? Why are we not seeing that in the news?
A lot of people try to tell me my whole entire life, I couldn't do this, like, you shouldn't have long hair, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't dress like this. And every single thing that they told me not to do, I did do. And it made me the person I am today, and I'm sickening. Like, I just would like to tell my younger self, like, don't let anybody tell you to, like, stop doing what you love to do, because it's going to make you the person who you are today.
The ad creates opportunities for the LGBT youth to develop into healthy, independent, civil-minded adults with a safe and supportive community, and promotes the acceptance of the LGBT youth in society. Take this information into account. Do what you can. Do not disregard.
Grocery store workers are on the front line of this pandemic. Ariel Taylor talked with some of these essential workers about their safety at a community market in West Philadelphia.
Do you remember what it was like to make a quick stop at your grocery store? Without thought or hesitation, we would walk in, grab a cart, and get the items we needed. The days of carefree shopping have been put on hold. At this point in the pandemic, most of us know the drill. We sit in our cars, if we're lucky to have one. while we mentally and physically prepare ourselves for entering our grocery store. But what if we had to be at that store for 8 to 10 hours on any given day? What if we had to come in contact with hundreds of people over the course of a week? Local West Philly food co-op, Mariposa, is doing its part to prevent the spread of the coronavirus by putting the needs of staff and shoppers first.
When we first started implementing some safety measures, like limiting the amount of shoppers in the store at a time, I would say I was doing the majority of what we call door duty, which was keeping the doors locked, opening the doors for one shopper at a time. And at first, shoppers were very happy and thankful and just appreciative that we were here. But staff were getting more and more afraid to be at work and afraid to be in close proximity with the amount of shoppers that we have shopping here each day. We have since imposed more safety measures, like the barriers at the register. Staff are advised not to be on the sales floor when shoppers are in the store.
West Philly resident Trish Jean, a vegan chef who has been shopping at the co-op for a number of years, told me about her experience during the pandemic.
Standing outside in the line keeps you from having to stand in the line inside. So I think the amount of shopping time is the same. Initially, I did not know about the change in hours. So I had a couple moments where I was like, I can't believe you guys are closed. So I'm so used to just conveniently being able to just go there during the regular hours. And the regular hours were always so long, like 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something like that. So, I just loved always being able to just go there anytime. I feel safer there than any other store right now. I just don't see anyone taking as many precautions as they are.
These days, the only times most people leave their homes is to go to stores like the co-op, and interfacing with people used to be a big part of their jobs.
The basics of not being able to talk to people is tough. I like doing it. It's part of why, I really enjoy my day to day. And not being able to do that is really tough. I've still been going to work, so I haven't really had a ton of time to think about the core essential nature of the job itself.
I wonder what will happen as the crisis kind of eases up a little bit. Will this industry still be as valued?
I think when all of this stuff first started happening, there was this widespread community sense and support, and everyone, a lot of folks being like, we really appreciate you, and that was nice, but don't want that to be superficial.
We all are a little scared right now and having to change our lives, and being so close to so many people each day is kind of terrifying, to be quite frank.
I think now more than ever, people are trying to support their local small businesses, especially local food.
Being able to recommend new products for people and then having them come back to the store and talk about how it worked for them, or seeing them out in the community and being like, oh yeah, you're so-and-so from the store. You gave me some castor oil. It was great. That's cool.
Online grocery shopping has become a necessity for many Americans during the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of retailers have had to act fast to keep up with the demand. But for small stores like the co-op, creating this infrastructure has proven to be a challenge.
The amount of people going to our online ordering website in just 2 days is more than our website would receive in a week. We were doing between 150 and 200 orders a day. We bring the orders downstairs and people start shopping them. And then Selena starts invoicing people through PayPal. Megan is making sure people have paid. I'm kind of working customer service if something is wrong. And so that's kind of where I come in. Calling people who are planning to pay with EBT. We can't take payment over the phone, so we allow people in as the only shopper to complete their transaction in the store. It's an all-day thing. I work almost 10 hours those days.
With having a new focus on online demand while trying to keep prices affordable, the store also faces obstacles with vendors in the supply chain.
I want to make sure that people have access to what they need, but while also ensuring quality. You don't really think about just how essential it is for folks to come in and buy hand soap until it's hard to get.
I don't want folks to panic buy. Maybe some adjustments on, a flavor that you normally buy or a brand that you normally buy.
Pickup for last name Martin.
While many small businesses were not able to receive funding from the first round of the Paycheck Protection Program, Mariposa will be receiving funds.
Have up to 1,000 to 1,200 shoppers in a day, and with reduced hours and limiting access, we're now around 600 maybe at best. This is going to enable us to maintain staff, at least for the next couple of weeks, maintain the hazard pay, cover the health benefits.
You got it.
The last few weeks have been one of loss and innovation. One thing we know for sure is that once this pandemic has passed, life will look different for all of us. With a new appreciation for the small things in life, I asked Elise and Nyla what they would do once the social distancing was over.
I'm going to be around people, as many people as possible. Just spend as much time with my loved ones as possible.
I don't know, go see some live music at a bar and have a gin and tonic with my friends.
This whole experience for everyone is so illuminating about how much we need to be around one another.
What's the first thing you would like to do once the world opens back up for us all? I'm Ariel Taylor, signing off for PhillyCAM Voices.
Several businesses are closed in Philadelphia because of the pandemic, but one small business is thriving and hired workers in our area. Chantel Belafonte talked with the owner of Black and Mobile, a food delivery service.
Black and Mobile is the first Black delivery food service in the country. It delivers exclusively to Black businesses and is owned by 24-year-old Philadelphia native David Cabello. Cabello started his delivery service to support Black restaurants and eateries in Philadelphia.
I started this so I can help Black businesses economically and help our people, whether that's hiring our people and just bringing more awareness to Black businesses.
David Cabello didn't anticipate starting his own delivery company when he dropped out of college. He just wanted to help the Black community. Cabello once worked for Uber Eats, and after making over $1,100 in one night, he decided to start his own delivery service company.
I went home that night, I typed into YouTube how to start a delivery service, and that's how my business began.
Cabello's business started thriving since Governor Wolf instated a statewide stay-at-home order due to the coronavirus.
This coronavirus definitely has helped me because now people can't go to the restaurant. They have to either do curbside or do delivery. And some people are like, well, if I can't eat at the restaurant, I'm just going to order for delivery. So now that my business was, an essential, it's named an essential business, it's thriving. I was able to I have about 70 drivers now. So I was able to hire a whole bunch of people and, they're making money because it's busier than ever. The first thing is everyone has to wear gloves. And a message is sent to every single last customer when the driver's on the way, check for gloves. If your driver is not wearing gloves, they're not going to be doing any orders. And if it consists, they're going to be fired because I don't want them handing the food to someone or us handing it. But no one in my team has got coronavirus or any sickness. Anyone that does for any kind of sick, I would have to put them in a month of restraint where you can't do orders. But no one has really gotten sick or anything like that. And then I'm also enforcing delivery bags. I don't want the food just sitting out on the car and it has to be inside of a food delivery bag. That way, when you hand it to them, they know their food is fresh and hasn't been touched.
Cabello is hiring 15 to 30 drivers who live in Philadelphia. The starting rate for drivers is $7 per delivery, and drivers keep 100% of their tips. Cabello also has dispatching jobs. It's a great opportunity for mothers to be at home with their children and still call in orders. North Philadelphia is by far Cabello's most popular delivery section.
I trust his process. He's now the only delivery service I use. I no longer use the other services anymore for many reasons. For one, their prices are high. They charge you. They actually taxing you to deliver. Him, everything is reasonable, and it's really about the community. It's really about giving back. With him, it's all about circulating the money back in the Black community. And when businesses like mine flourish and Black and Mobile flourish, everything come back to the community. So that's part of the reason why I signed up, and I'm gonna be a customer forever.
Cabello believes this is a great time for his business to thrive in other cities.
This shows that it's way deeper than food delivery. This is not just a food delivery company. This is something that's going to impact communities. This is something that's going to help people have jobs when they want a better paying job versus being stuck at a job that pays you $8 an hour, and then you have to listen to someone versus getting paid $14 to $20 an hour. You know, like, we want to make better opportunities for our people. So it's very important to not only support Black business economically, but this helps the Black families.
And to be more competitive, Cabello travels farther than other delivery services.
I know from, my experience and, asking restaurant owners, we actually deliver farther than them. It's usually a 5-mile radius, but we wanted to reach more people. We started out at a 5-mile radius, but we wanted to reach more people, so we do 6.
Black and Mobile delivers 6 miles away from the restaurant location. Anyone looking to work for Black and Mobile must complete and pay for a background check before working for the company. For more information, visit www.blackandmobile.com. I'm Chantal Belafonte reporting for PhillyCAM Voices.
The dance troupe, Kool-Aid Melee, has spent 50 years entertaining audiences in our area. Karen Walker takes a look at the company's success.
Well, I think that we help keep the culture alive here in this community. We've been studying West African dance, Afro-Cuban dance, and hip-hop social dance.
We always try to say that Black history doesn't start with enslavement, but it goes before enslavement. And so with that, we claim African culture as ours as well, because we represent a very traditional way of dance and music and culture that emphasizes respect and love. Is very much welcomed in a lot of communities. The drum that I play is called the Jimbei Drum, and it originates from West Africa, countries like Mali, Guinea, and the Ivory Coast.
And this will kind of bring them back to their roots and say, you can still enjoy and celebrate your own culture and live your professional life. Right. Like, we have people that are nurses, attorneys, doctors, drummers a doctor, dancers a doctor. Wow. They're still able to work their regular day job and do overtime and still come in and dance and feel good about themselves because they're celebrating their culture.
I mean, it actually helps people with their self-esteem and how they envision life and their existence to know that they come from greatness. It's very much important for Kool-Aid Melee to pass this information on to the youth, not just our own children, but also to the children of the Philadelphia community. Because you realize that one day you might not be here, and that you want your children to take on that same legacy to make the world a better place.
That's how we keep it going. Our kids rise up, they grow up, and then they become a part of it.
We're celebrating our 50th year. It's just been a wonderful experience. We've been able to do a lot of beautiful things.
Thank you for watching this look back at some of our favorite stories of 2020. You can also watch our show on YouTube and Roku. And follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you next time.